You're watching Worldview 2, built on the 35 years of Worldview books, documentaries, research, high-profile interviews, and the radio and television broadcasts of Brannon House.
Massive human trafficking. It's a record 288 people arrested.
They're not reporting the real numbers.
The numbers are segmented and they are fictitious.
I started my career in 1997 in the United States Border Patrol. It was one of the most violent times in recent Border Patrol history. I made my bones and my reputation on that border. I believe what is happening on the border today is intentional.
We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them.
Our own government is facilitating the absolute destruction of the American immigration system, and I can prove it point by point. I'm unafraid to speak the truth. This is just data-driven and experience-driven.
You have not seen any movement in the House to codify most of his executive orders.
That's right. We have a Republican-controlled House. We have a Republican-controlled Senate. Now, we do have the 60-vote problem in the Senate.
But is it no interest in at least in the House, you can get this rolling,
the House,
right? And make it a political issue.
If every Republican understands the mandate in the House, they should have no problem voting for all these executive orders. After all, this is what we campaigned on.
This is key. This is my point. That's the separation between President Trump's action coming from the executive, not followed up by the legislative.
Every single one of President Trump's orders, executive orders, are temporary unless the House and the Senate codifies them into law. Every single one of them are temporary. Every single thing we fought for the past 4 years, every single dollar donated, every single door knocked, every single vote cast will be thrown away unless Republicans codify these things into law. There is no wedge between the base and President Trump. The wedge is between Congress and the establishment Republicans that are undermining the president's agenda. And also anyone that gets in the president's ear and is lying to him about what he should be doing. You know, here's the real issue. This country rose up in a historic way, something that we haven't seen in our lifetime, Steve, and delivered a mandate. And that mandate was to the Republican Party. The mandate was President Trump's agenda. The American people said, no, we're done with the old Republican Party ways. We are rejecting the Democrat Party's policies. We are embracing Make America Great Again, MAGA, America First, MAHA, no more foreign wars. This whole populist movement supporting America and American workers and American companies and American interests and solving American problems.
Hey,
that's
Caleb,
what November 2024 was about.
Give me a clock?
And Washington, as usual, is tone deaf and has not heard the message. What we saw is all these Republicans that rejected Trump, fought Trump in his first administration. You know, networks, even like Fox News, that did not support the president and didn't support him in 2021 and 2022. Part of 2023, and didn't support him until they realized they had to support him.
There's not just 100%, 120% backing of the agenda. In the Hill newspaper stuff, they'll say Republicans are on board, but you're up there. You know they're not on board. Every day you're fighting every day behind scenes.
I'm telling you, if you ignore the parents that are furious over COVID vaccines being on their childhood vaccine schedule, you're going to lose the midterms. If you ignore the campaign promises of no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security, you're going to lose the midterms. If you ignore the executive orders that the American people are like, yes, applauding for every single day, we're going to lose the midterms. Here's why. If we're campaigning in 2026 on you have to vote for Republicans because the Democrats are going to impeach Trump, the American people are going to go, we don't care. We've seen that TV show before. We've seen it twice. We do not care. We still support President Trump.
You're saying they can't hurt President Trump, and it's got to be something deeper than that.
It's got to be something deeper. It's got to be something deeper.
Welcome to Truth with J.J. Carrell. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Why isn't she Speaker of the House? Why isn't she in charge? Why do we have some little tiny mouse of a man, Speaker Johnson, running the show? Let's go all the way back. Let's go back to Crybaby John Boehner. Let's go back to P90X Paul Ryan. And then we get McCarthy. And then we get Speaker Johnson. Why do you keep giving me impotent beta males? Why? Why don't you give me Give me a woman that has more masculinity than all of them combined. Just like the Democrats did. They got the tigress, Pelosi, to tear into the Republicans. We have no Pelosi on our side except Marjorie Taylor Greene. Why isn't she in that position? What about Hagerman from Montana? Why not? It's better than these pieces of trash simps that we have running our party. I even say our party. They're not my party. I'm a MAGA. I have just a little bit more in common with the Republicans than I do the Democrats. That's how bad the Republicans are. Marjorie Taylor Greene saying it perfectly. They haven't codified anything. Nothing. Where's Jim Jordan? With his tie undone and his sleeves rolled up, because he's a working man. He's a working man. Where's Comer? Where are those two morons? Do you remember when they said on Sean Hannity, we have more evidence right now to convict Biden and his family of fraud, of treason, of payoffs through their 127 LLCs? And then the next day, silence. Who got to Jim Jordan? Who got to Comer? Who else? Who else can do what needs to be done? Do we need to bring back the ultimate simp, Trey Gowdy? Do we need to bring him back? The guy that would go on Fox News exactly like Jim Jordan and pontificate about all the ills and and I was a prosecutor and I did this and I know I've changed my haircut 17 times since the last time I was on, which was 2 days ago. And my crazy ears stick out and I'm going to pontificate about all the ills and then I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to do less than nothing. 70+ million people voted for Donald Trump in spite of the R. And what's going to happen, you can already begin to see it, right? You can begin to see Speaker Johnson is going to drag his feet. They're going to drag their feet into the midterms, and then we're going to lose. And the power is going to shift back to the Democrats, and nothing's going to get done, and they're going to wait Donald Trump out. And that seems to be the play here, is they're going to wait Donald Trump out. And then they will run either J.D. Vance on the coattails of Donald Trump, or they will find a super Republican, meaning a Mitch McConnell, a John Thune, somebody that is just never going to win, right? Never going to win. And they'll allow the Democrats to get back, and they'll undo all the executive orders, and then we'll be right back to where we were. We'll be right back to where the uniparty was continually get rich, wealthy beyond any of our imaginations. And then they'll talk about each other and say their bad things about it, about each party and about each politician. Then we'll just continue hurtling down the insane path. The path of American destruction, America last, everything we have been living through for decades. We will start that process over again, but at a hyper speed, because they will have learned their lesson. Again, under Biden, under Obama, they learned their lesson that they wasted 8 years. They wasted 8 years where they could have accelerated that through hyper legislation and ignoring the Constitution. Well, they did that under Biden. They learned, wow, we can get a lot done. Next time we do it, we need to go faster. We need to be more aggressive. And we need to be more aggressive because who's going to stop us? Speaker Johnson, that CR in the last 2 years, the budget was bigger than it was the first 2 years of Biden's administration under Pelosi. Speaker Johnson, they said, paid for things that Nancy Pelosi would never, ever have brought to the floor because she knew that there's no way that the Republicans would pass it. But the Republicans passed it because a Republican proposed it. And then you go back and look at the votes. There were more Democrat votes than there were Republican votes for it. Don't you see it? I know my audience sees it. I know you guys are smart. But don't you want to shake people that are kind of on the fence and say, what do you not see? Are you just happy because there's a bunch of R's in the House and Senate and the presidency? That's really what you care about, is you see an R and you're like, oh, they're going to take care of us. They're going to take care of us. No, they're not going to take care of us. There's a man that went on Steve Bannon's show named Tom Fitton. He's a powerhouse. He files FOIAs. He files lawsuits. He's a powerhouse. And it was about a 20-minute clip. And I took two small clips out of there that I felt that were the most. And I could have played the whole 20 minutes, to be honest with you, because he came out with great point after great point, just like Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's real simple. It seems to me that the Republicans on the House need to solidify everything that Trump has done executive order-wise. And then at the same time, they need to attack the enemies of the United States of America. Not the enemies of our party, the enemies of the United States of America. Why has no one been thrown in jail after DOJ has found all of the theft in Social Security, all the theft in from the Department of Education's $4 billion slush fund? Why has no one been arrested in the Treasury, where they had no procedure in place to track the $5 trillion they send checks to every single year? $160 billion of waste, fraud, and abuse, and no one's been arrested? So what this tells me, as a former law enforcement officer that did this for a living, and I'm looking at it just from a law enforcement perspective, I have to come to not just a conclusion, but if you don't want to believe that this is the conclusion, I have to, as an investigator, I have to look at this and go, we have some collusion here. I'm laying out all the evidence and I'm thinking, okay, no one's being arrested. No one's talking about arrests. No one's talking about anything. And everything is continually kind of just going on the same pace. That means that there are people on, quote, the good side that are complicit, that are conspiring, that are hiding and giving no punishment to the criminals, because they can't do that, because then they'll turn on the people that are investigating them or not investigating them. Our government is so corrupt. They just do it more cleanly. They don't do it so brazenly with machetes and AK-47s that we see driving around in armored vehicles or Jeeps on muddy roads in the Congo and shooting each other and macheting each other. No. We are cleaner than that. We just steal money. We rape children because we're pedophiles. And nothing gets done. At least in the third world banana republics, at least on some level, there's some justice, right? The aggrieved party finally comes to power, gets enough personnel, and they go and they slaughter their enemy. What do? We play this kabuki theater, this Broadway play of, oh yeah, we hate the Democrats. Oh, the Democrats hate the Republicans. And why are they all on the same NGOs, the boards? Why are they so intertwined? Meaning, why does their families all get wealthy? I've been retired about the same time Ben Crenshaw's been retired from the military and me from federal law enforcement. My 401k has been devastated under Joe Biden. And yet now this man, under the same system I am, hasn't created a damn thing, hasn't written 2 books, haven't done 2 documentaries, doesn't have a podcast. He's just a congressman. And he's worth over $5 million. Can someone explain that to me? AOC has been out. She's been about 2 more years in the job than I have been retired. She's not created anything. She's easily considered one of the dumbest people in the House. And she's worth over $20 million. Can someone explain that to me? We have Nancy Pelosi's with her dentures falling out and sucking, making a sucking sound, sucking her dentures back into her mouth. And she's now reportedly worth $250 million. Tom Finn, let's play this first clip. And what he's talking about is there are no arrests. And Donald Trump is going to have to do it himself. Donald Trump's going to have to do everything himself. He has no backing. There's no Republicans in the House or the Senate that are backing him. This is a one-man show. This truly is a one-man show from the executive branch. Play this first one from Tom Finn, please.
If the deep state is not shattered on Trump's watch and destroyed, it's going to come back. It's going to come back bigger than ever. It's got to be done. It's got to be done now.
I mean, I was talking about online the other day. You went to jail for contempt of Congress. Pete Navarro went to jail for contempt of Congress. Garland wasn't prosecuted by the Justice Department. Why? You know, he hid the video. He hid the audio of the Biden interview because they covered up his mental incapacities by keeping that audio quiet. He refused and went into contempt of Congress rather than turn it over. Why isn't the Bondi Justice Department prosecuted him? I mean, it's right there. There's a package right there from the prior administration. They can reevaluate and review and decide whether to prosecute or not. And as I was saying at the beginning of the show, it's now time, I would suggest respectfully to the president, that if he wants this done, he should just do it. Order it, get it done.
Because they're going to, even if
order it and get it done. This is a man that is in D.C. He's in the belly of the beast. He's very tied in, and he's saying the exact same thing that I'm saying. Mr. President, Pam Bondi, everyone has left the trail of evidence. It's like someone robs a bank, and I have video of him with his 2 homies going in and blasting the tellers and getting all the money, and then getting into their car. I have circuit TV on the light poles showing him driving through the city. I have his license plate. I have his address that's there. I follow it through closed circuit TV through the cities, and he drives 15 miles out to his house. And I'm looking at that, and I'm going, okay, he's at his house. And then a state trooper says, well, I see the car. It's driving down the street, down Main Street. Yeah, it's going to his residence. Okay, let's all go. And we all follow the car going to the residence. And he has so much cash. The cash is flying out the window as he's driving. And then we see the 2 guys jump out of the car with their guns, with their backpacks, and they run into the house and run back out to get more cash and run back to get some more cash. And cash is flying all over the yard. It's all over their porch. It's leading into their house. We actually go in and say, hey, put your guns down. Okay, you caught me. Let me take some pictures of you standing around all the cash. We have fingerprint. We have video. All right, we'll see you later. And the 2 bank robbers look at each other like, you're not going to arrest us? No. We're going to talk about it. We'll see you. You know, just take care. That's what we've done. We have treason under Mayorkas. He has made it multiple statements what he did in Central America building safe mobility offices, which is regional processing centers. You have Joe Biden has been taking money from the Chinese, laundering it through University of Penn. His son's been laundering money. His brother's been laundering money. They've been literally sending checks to each other through their LLCs. It's all documented. And nothing. We have video footage. Just like bank robbers, we have video footage of people stuffing ballots into to drop in ballot facilities, changing the ballots in Atlanta. We have data experts showing what's happened in Pennsylvania, where they flipped the 600,000 votes came in all for Joe Biden in 2 or 3 hours in the middle of the night. And I could go on and on and on. And nothing. Peter Schweitzer writes a complete book about the treason and the corruption, showing that Mitch McConnell's been getting kickbacks from his father-in-law for his whole time, and his father-in-law is the shipping magnate for the CCP. I don't care if you call it some private sector company. It's run by the CCP. The CCP pays him, and then he pays his daughter, who's married to the old turtle. The last known dump of money was $25 million from his father-in-law. And nothing gets done. Why? And Tom Finn will later on in this interview begin to tell you the why. But the why is because they're all corrupt. They're all incestuous. They're all in bed with each other. America, you're just being played. What does parasites need to survive? Can they survive on their own? No. A parasite needs a host. The bigger the host, the better. How does 350 million people generating income for you, the parasite, how does that look? That looks pretty damn inviting, doesn't it? We shouldn't be paying federal income tax. It's not even a law. Look it up. Call me crazy. Go ahead. As people call me crazy about many, many, many things. Oh, the government, you said the government's trafficking 350,000 children, up to 550,000 children. Oh, that's absurd. Well, RFK Jr. just came out on Friday and saying, well, yeah, HHS was the main facilitator, the collaborator, putting children in sex trafficking and slavery. Oh, I guess I wasn't that crazy. Which, the border's wide open. They've let in this many, 12 million people that have arrested and released. They've arrested 200,000 terrorists and released them, and PLA soldiers. And then the total is 30 million. Now we have 50 to 52 million people in America. Oh, you're absurd. You're so off the mark. It's all hyperbole, JJ. You're just an angry white guy. Oh, well, yeah, no, you're actually right. That's true. It is 50 million. 30 million under Biden. Oh, yeah, it's 200,000 terrorists that we know of that was released. Yes, PLA soldiers by the tens of thousands are in America. Oh, man. How did you know that, JJ? People go into Congress, into politics, with debt or a little bit of equity in their house, and within 5 to 10 years they're worth $5 to $10 to $20 to $30 million. It's not difficult to do a forensic audit and see where the money came from. But as Elon Musk has said through Doge, when they ask certain politicians, well, where did that, you made $25 million last year. You didn't create an app. You didn't sell anything. You didn't go on a speaking tour. You didn't do anything. You made $175,000 to $200,000 a year last year. How did that turn into $25 million? And you know what? At least 3 of the major criminals that are politicians said, the money just appeared into my bank account. Money just appeared. I've never had that happen to me. I've never had $100. I never had $1,000. I never had $100,000. I never had several million dollars land in my account and not knowing. And then if I did open my account right now and saw checking account, you have $7 million. What? I would immediately call my bank and say, there is a problem. I wouldn't just shrug my shoulders and go, wow, look what just appeared into my bank account. Do you see the absurdity? We are the host. They are the parasites. And we keep feeding them because we don't do anything about it. Let's play this next Tom Fenton clip on Steve Bannon.
President Washington's handling of the Whiskey Rebellion. I mean, Mike, you didn't want to be on the wrong end of George Washington on that.
First off, people don't know that Hamilton and Washington actually came back and they formed a standing army, made Hamilton a major general, and Washington was going to...
Adams did,
yes.
And Jefferson, as I said, ran
the Aliens Amnesty Act that we're using came from that time, the 1798.
President Jackson, Roosevelt used Teddy...
I've talked about this. I've actually wrote a whole chapter in my book, Treason, where I compared Washington to Trump. And on the face of it, it's an absurd comparison until you really understand the men. And Donald Trump needs to go back into history, look at what President Washington, the indispensable man, did. He did things that had to be done, knowing that he was going to get massive pushback. Maybe tarnish his reputation, tarnish his legacy, but he knew he had to do it to save the republic. And because he did that, he's now revered. Revered. What does Donald Trump have? What does Donald Trump not have? Look at his life. What is he missing? He has billions of dollars. He couldn't spend the money he has. He couldn't, he doesn't have enough time in the day to spend the interest that he makes daily. He has beautiful children that are all successful. He has beautiful grandchildren that are growing up and carrying his name. So he has a legacy through his family. He has power. His wife is a supermodel, beautiful, intelligent, strong, knows her place. Never embarrasses, always dresses beautifully. To a man, that's very important. To Donald Trump, it's mandatory. So what does he not have? On the face of it, it seems as if he has everything. He's missing one thing, and that's eternal legacy. The kind of legacy, admiration, and importance in historical context that George Washington has. Not Thomas Jefferson, not Adams, not Lincoln, the top guy, George Washington. All the way back, the very first one, the indispensable man. And Donald Trump wants to be remembered on that level, wants to be on the same pedestal as that man. And right now, if I had 1 minute to talk to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump literally is walking and he's like, okay, stop clock, looks at Stephen Miller. This guy's, JJ's got 1 minute. Go, son. Okay, sir, you have an opportunity to be on the same pedestal as George Washington, to become the second indispensable man in current times. And historians will look back on you 100 years from now and say, because of you, because of one man, you saved this republic. And that saving the republic is eradicating the deep state, taking down the families that have been running our country for decades and throwing them in jail for treason. We have all the evidence. You don't have to make anything up. This is going to be very hard. You're going to be crucified. You're going to be called all these names. But in order for America to survive, regain its footing under the foundation of the founding fathers, and thrive into the future, you, sir, are going to have to do things that are going to be absolutely uncomfortable, but you know you have to do them, so just do it. And then Stephen Miller would say, done. I say, okay, I'm done. And I walk away. I hope someone's talking to him like that. I hope someone's not there kissing his ass, hoping that they can hang on for the 4 years and get some kind of job or something. I hope someone's there that's got big enough balls to tell the alpha male, the man that is the alpha in the world, sir, the sand in the hourglass is pouring out. Another day has passed and you have not arrested anybody. Americans have had it. Americans want justice. You have all the evidence, sir. Now it's just, do you have the determination and the courage to do what is right? I hope someone's like that talking to him. I hope someone that doesn't need money, sex, power, sexual fetishes, ambitions that cloud their judgment. I hope it's just some dude that's got everything he needs. He would love to have more money and love to have all this, but fine, I'm very happy where I am. I just want to save America and be part of the restoration of America. I pray there's someone like that standing near Donald Trump, that Donald Trump trusts and looks at and says, in the quiet, away from the cameras, what do you think? Well, this is what I think, Mr. President. Or maybe two of those men or three of those men that he really trusts, and he gets into a room together with those other three, like a Stephen Miller and two other guys like that, and say, I need to do this. When should I do it? How should I do it? Should I do it? Yes, Mr. President, it should have happened 2 months ago. Let's do it now. Call in Pam Bondi, call in Kash Patel, call in Kristi Noem, call in all the heads of your Joint Chiefs of Staff, call them in to a meeting right now, and let's lay out the plan of removing all the traitors out in our country. I don't know. I don't know if that will ever happen. I can't imagine Stephen Miller holds his tongue. I just don't. Could be wrong, but I just don't. The sponsor that allows us to stay on air or helps us stay on air at worldviewtube.com and gives us this platform is bellagrace.com. I love their product. I take their product every single day. I take the elixir. I have passed the 30-day challenge. I went to visit my niece and I didn't take a pack. It's just a packet. You literally put it in your front pocket of your shirt. I just forgot. I came back and I felt like I had inflammation. I did. I'll be honest. I was like, why do I feel kind of bloated and kind of lethargic and my joints are hurting a little bit? Oh, I stopped taking it for a day and a half, 2 days. Go to shopbellagrace.com/truth. Shopbellagrace.com/truth. Caleb, can you play these two commercials for me of this sweet young lady?
Start your day with the glow that comes from within. Introducing Bella Grace Elixir, a beauty secret that nurtures your skin from the inside out. Packed with natural ingredients, Bella Grace helps collagen production, reduce fine lines, and restore your youthful glow. And the best part, Bella Grace is perfect for your busy life. Take it with you on the go wherever you go. Bella Grace Elixir, discover the secret to timeless beauty. To get your hands on this product, go to www.shopbellagrace.com/truth. Elevate your skin's natural radiance with the Bella Grace Dewy Serum, your go-to for smooth, hydrating, and glowy skin. Infused with nourishing ingredients, it provides deep hydration, a soft texture, and a luminous, dewy finish. Like, come on, look at that. Whether you're at home, on the go, or heading to practice like me, Bella Grace Dewy Serum fits seamlessly into your daily routine. Glow from within all day long. Bella Grace Dewy Serum. To get your hands on this product, go to www.shopbellagrace.com/truth.
Great product. I use it. Please go to shopbellagrace.com/truth. My son and I went to visit my niece, his cousin. My son's the youngest in the family, in nieces and nephews. And it's very important that when my nieces and nephews are anywhere near us, that we go and visit them. And the vast majority of them are all adults in college or starting their careers. And it's amazing for my son to see hard work, determination, perseverance, and what the manifestation of that is by visiting. I have a nephew that's in flight school in the Navy. I have another nephew that just got married, and he's working at a great company, and he's moving up, and all the nieces and nephews that are playing collegiate sports on scholarship. So we went and watched my niece, who's on scholarship at a Big 12 school, play softball. And she's incredible, just incredible. But that gives me a time. We drove, it took a couple states away, so it took about 4 or 5 hours to drive. And it was just a great time. My wife's like, hey, you know what? Just take Joseph and you guys go have like a man's trip. And my son's a real big skateboard, scooter, X game kid too. So there's, believe it or not, in Des Moines, Iowa, has the largest skate park in America. That's insane. Des Moines, Iowa. Who would think that the largest skate park in America is in Des Moines, Iowa, right on the river bank, on the Des Moines River? Beautiful, beautiful. The landscape and the bridge, the suspension bridge into the distance. And this skate park is gigantic, and we just spent hours there. But it was great because I get a chance to speak with my son. And one way that I communicate with my son, and I talk to my friends about this, and I find it's great for me, is my son loves to watch certain conservative influencers. And, you get an algorithm, be Charlie Kirk, it could be Matt Walsh is one of his favorite. And then it will jump on the whatever podcast, right? And things where it's about women and men relationships, and then masculinity and the role and, the Christian role of a man. And it gives me a chance not to sit there as a father and talk down to my son. Like, you can't do this and you can't do that and you have to do this. No, these men are talking about what I believe and that I talk to my son about, but he doesn't hear it from my mouth. He hears it from someone else. And what's interesting, if we will take a 15-minute short, like a podcast short, Charlie Kirk or Matt Walsh or something, Andrew Tate, something will pop up, and we'll just listen. And we'll never get through 15 or 30 minutes in 15 or 30 minutes. Because it will take us an hour and a half, because my son's constantly hitting pause and then asking me questions. And that's how I have this discussion with life about it. And for all the dads out there, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, and all the men that are going to be dads. If you're doing it right, and trust me, I'm not the best. My goal and my desire every day is to be the best father. But one way that I've discovered that to be a great dad, and I'm trying every day to be a great dad, and I fail. And some days I'm just like, gosh, dang it, you suck, man. How do you suck that bad? And then other days I'm like, damn, you did good today. You were a good dad. And one of the ways is I find that you have this ongoing conversation. It doesn't end. Like, okay, we're going to get out of the car and no, it just kind of keeps going on and evolving. And I have these conversations with my son watching these long form interviews or the interviews cut up like I do in shorts, and we watch it and we just talk about it. I love it. I think podcasting is one of the greatest forms of communication, and I'm using that as a way to communicate with my son about the values that I want him to have. And he and I had these conversations this past weekend about masculinity and about what it is to be masculine. What is your role as a man? And one thing that I'm going to show you a clip from this, and it's so true. And what in this clip is showing that my son's generation, this generation from like 4th, 5th, 6th grade up to like high school, it's a different generation of boys because they've looked at the generation in front of them and said, I don't want anything to do with that. I know I'm a boy. I want to be a man. I don't want to act as if I need a tampon. I don't want to act as if I could just wear a dress and get pregnant with no uterus or no ability. I'm a man. And I listen to that as I drive my son with his friends, either going to get ice cream, go to the movies, or going to a sports event. They're playing baseball. And I just sit there and I listen to them because I don't want to talk. I just want to sit there. My son doesn't want me to talk to him anyway. So we're just going to sit there. I coach most of the kids, so I know them. And I just listen to everything they say. And it is astounding that this generation is so politically aware. Never did I have this political awareness when I was growing up. Things were just different. But my son and his friends are so politically savvy, and they know that everything they have been told is a lie. They instinctively know it, but now they're articulating to each other. And you're beginning to see this change where the new young boys that are becoming men are hard. They're leaning very, very hard to the right. And I want all you Democrats any Democrats that are watching this, I want you to understand in a very, very, very short time, you and all your mental patients will be in the extreme minority. And you will be shunned, and you will be mocked, and you will be put in a corner because the people that have had to deal with it for decades now, and the young men that are coming up want nothing to do with you. The young women that are coming up, they're traditionalists. They've seen their mothers as people that are struggling, working a job with their dad or their divorce. They're seeing their mother have no one to date. They see their mother struggling. They see their mother's depression because the nuclear family exploded. The younger generation is looking at the generation beneath me and mine and going, you people are mental patients. You have screwed everything up, and I'm not going to be a part of it. Watch this video. This is just about 45 seconds, but it's spot on.
Have you seen the data showing the movement of teenage boys politically to the right? Have you been looking at this?
Where else are they going to go?
It's a good question.
I mean, I had a teenage boy. I still have one, but he's 18 now. And I watched them be pushed farther and farther right by their schools. You suck. All of your instincts are bad. These girls are amazing. Look at you. You're pathetic. Be less masculine and more attractive. You're just barking at them constantly. They're not moving right. They're moving out of your stupid way. You've given them what? Nothing. Nothing. One of my son's friends died recently by his own hand. And I don't know what kind of pressures he was put under. But I watched those kids go through this pressure cooker created by this crazy, parasitized, left-wing education movement. Get away from our sons. Get away from our daughters. Get away from our sons and away from our daughters. It's not left or right. I don't have a Republican bone in my body. Get the crazy people who do not understand human development away from our children.
If you have a son or a daughter, you have to have this ongoing conversation because you're combating the world. The world is trying to devour them. I had a moment yesterday when my son and I were driving back from school, and we were watching another another podcast short, and it jumped on the whatever podcast where it's several men talking about traditional masculinity and what they want from women, and a lot of them are the OnlyFans, and their quote body count, the sexual partners they've had is enormous numbers. And I paused it. I looked at my son and I said, I need to tell you something. I said, you know that I'm the way I am, right? The way I think. Joseph, you know how I think. Yes, Dad. And you know I don't say things just to say them. And I don't say things that are crazy. I say things that I believe are real. And I said, Joseph, Satan is roaming the earth and he's winning. And we talked about how Satan is winning. 60 million abortions, the mutilation of children at the hands of their mothers and fathers, the lack of a nuclear family, the transgender insanity, the gender fluidity. And I told my son, Joseph, that this isn't an anomaly. This is just not happened across the globe. This is because Satan is walking this earth, and he's winning. And I looked at him and I said, you remember, you don't have to believe what I believe. You don't. You're your own person. Do I sound crazy to you? And he said, no, Dad, you don't. I said, do you disagree with me that Satan is on this earth and he is winning? We know that God wins at the end, but he's winning now, right? He's like, yes, I believe that, Dad. I really believe that. We have to take our children back from the people that are teaching them. We're dropping them off at school for 8 hours. Then they got about another hour and a half to 2 hours of either screen time on their Google Classroom or their YouTube. So now it's 10 hours. They're going to sleep 8 or 9. They're going to go to sports for an hour or two. That leaves us with maybe 2 hours of time with them during the work week. Here's someone I play for my son. And a lot of you are going to say, that is crazy. No, it allows me to have a conversation with my son about a lot of what this man says that I believe, and there is a little bit that I don't, but it gives me a chance to speak about the things I don't agree with him, and that's Andrew Tate. And I believe in the hypermasculinity. I believe in the do not deny your masculine desires and feelings and wants. Those are put in your body by God. And they've been suppressed. They've been demonized. They have been talked down on. But this is true what Andrew Tate's about to say. Go ahead and play this, please.
They think if you talk about the positives of masculinity, you're instantly attacking femininity. And this is not the case. Unfortunately, masculinity has been under such attack now in the Western world that if a man even acts remotely masculine, he is considered a threat and a danger to the world. They're trying to tell young men in the world today there's something wrong with them for wanting to get up and work hard and get rich and get important and have a voice that people respect and train hard in the gym and have a fast car and be known. They try to say all of these are bad things, and they're absolutely not.
They're absolutely not. I tell my son all the time. My son is now working out. Notice in his body. He is an absolute car nut now. He's starting to look at girls. Girls are starting to look at him. He's starting to kind of triangulate what he wants to do and be in life and what he wants to be great at. Why would I want to stifle that? Why would the world want to stifle that? Because you can't control a population if the men are masculine. Just can't. You just can't. Here's a man, the Scottish man. I love the internet. I do. And I love X because X has now become the new Google. Like it is a clearinghouse. And you can find things in the way people say it. Because it's one thing that I want to share to you, my audience, but a lot of times when I'm looking there, I'm also looking at it through the lens of a father trying to show his son, hey, son, watch this video. Because these men are saying things that I believe in, but it just is coming not from their his father. And just like you hear my voice every day and you watch my show, you're like, well, that's JJ's take. Well, no, my take is my take, but there are other people saying the exact same thing that I'm saying. That's not a coincidence. There are millions of men like me that believe what we believe in, and we are now not afraid to say it out loud. I have never been, I'll be very honest with you, I've never been shy about telling you what I believe. But the overwhelming push amongst masculine men now is to speak the truth. Watch this man from Scotland.
We don't need more weak men. We need more strong, capable, powerful, honourable, fearless, ferocious, and savage men in all the right, good and healthy ways. And we need them now. And if we don't step up now, then in 5, 10, 15 years' time, we're all going to be screwed.
He's right. We are looking at a global crisis where we have been taken over by the beta males and now being told what to do, because when the betas are in charge, they can change the world. I want to take another video of this guy, and he just lays out the masculine traits. Tell me one of them that's wrong. One that you, as a woman, wouldn't want in a husband, wouldn't want your son to be like. And any man out there, and you hear this, make sure if you don't check all these boxes, then you better figure out how to check these boxes to be a man. And because the world is demanding, not only demanding, they need men that are masculine and are strong in their faith, strong physically, strong emotionally, strong intellectually. Listen to what this man just enumerates, that it's perfect.
If you're masculine, then you're chivalrous. You're willing to open doors for people. You're willing to say your please and thank yous. You are willing to lend a hand if someone needs something heavy moved. You are willing to step in the gap to protect those who can't protect themselves. You are willing to walk on the sidewalk side when walking with a woman, on the street side of the sidewalk. You are willing to be a gentleman, be a servant, and to be a savage. That is a masculine man.
That's the baseline. That man didn't lay out anything crazy. That's what is expected just to be an average man. An average man. I bet you 99.9% of all the men don't have any idea why you don't let your woman walk on the outside of a sidewalk. Have no idea. Well, because they could get hit by a car. Somebody on a bike or a motorcycle drive up and steal her purse or steal her. Or somebody could drive and hit a puddle and splash water all over your wife or your daughter or your girlfriend. That's why you do it. You're protecting her. They don't even understand that. Let's take it from a female's perspective, not just the male. Let's listen. I think it's Jedediah. She has a podcast. She talks to women constantly and sees this upside down insanity of beta males and what it's done to relationships and done to society. Let's listen to a female perspective on masculinity.
But I see a lot of women turning on what they've been told and the programming and embracing a different kind of life and kind of looking at their lives and saying, this stuff I've been fed, it's not making me happy, and walking away from the career path and wanting to move out and into the country and do a homestead. And I see enough of that to give me hope Because again, my goal, I do believe that when women are in their feminine and men are in their masculine, the union of those two forces is not only beautiful, but, is the ideal environment for a child to flourish and society to flourish and, the battle of good versus evil to come out on top. I do believe that in my heart of hearts. I have to believe that there's going to be a tide that turns here.
The tide is turning. Let me just show you a picture. It kind of crystallize everything that I'm saying. This is a picture of who do you want your son to be like? This effeminate, grotesquely beta male, Trudeau, or the alpha that's sitting on the edge of his seat, ready to pounce and destroy and just capture and dominate? Well, of course, I want my son to be like Donald Trump. I want him to be the alpha. It captures everything what I just said perfectly. Be prepared, as I'm closing out this episode, of being a masculine man. I want you also to be prepared, and that's one thing that masculine men are always prepared. They know how to change a tire. They always have flashlight in their car. They have money in their pocket. They got somewhere to go. They got somewhere to be. They're prepared. Be prepared. Go to sat123.com/JJ, sat123.com/JJ. Get a sat phone. You want to be prepared? You want to be on the side of the road with no way to contact anybody? Cell towers are down. Can't get a hold of your child, your wife. Can't call emergency services. Get a sat phone for free when you get a monthly subscription. Go to sat123.com/JJ. Fast show. Kayla, how much time do I got? I got 30 seconds. Holy smokes. I could talk about masculinity and the need for men all day because it's a passion of mine, because I lay everything that's wrong in the world and in America at the feet of the man. The man is not masculine enough. The man doesn't protect his women and children enough. The man has allowed mental patients to take his country, and we have to take it back. And we have to take it back now.
You're watching Worldview 2, built on the 35 years of Worldview books, documentaries, research, high-profile interviews, and the radio and television broadcasts of Brannon House.
What if there was a product that could help you control cravings, burn more fat, boost your metabolism, promote healthy blood glucose levels, lower inflammation, optimize insulin sensitivity, support healthy blood lipid levels, and support healthy blood pressure? Introducing Bellatrim.
My wife has been taking Bellatrim now, and she said, Brandon, we have really got to promote this because people don't understand this isn't just about a comprehensive weight management. It will help regulate your blood glucose levels. It will lower bad cholesterol. Overall, it's good for your cardiac health. And she said there's a lot of science behind this.
G'day, I'm Dr. Mark Miller for Bella Grace, and I'd like to have a chat with you about Bellatrim, our comprehensive weight management product. Now, most people early on will register a reduction in cravings associated with Bellatrim. How does it do that? Well, it does it by changing the levels of hormones that are associated with either hunger or satiety. It lowers the levels of ghrelin, a hunger hormone, and it raises the levels of GLP-1, the satiety hormone. There is an absolutely fascinating action on a metabolic switch called AMP kinase, AMPK. AMPK is associated with the preferential burning of fat as a metabolic fuel. And as a result, you have a reduction in visceral fat and reduction in waist circumference. It also helps regulate blood glucose. Blood glucose is a huge factor in weight management. It also improves your microbiome. We do that by several ways. One, there's an ingredient in there that stimulates greater diversity. And the other one is prebiotics, FOS and GOS, that help feed the good bacteria, gentrify your microbiome. So, Bellatrim, comprehensive. Enjoy it.
To learn more about Bellatrim